Hello my loves, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel Mina Reads, and today we're going to be doing part 3 in my personalized book recommendation series. So in this series you guys send me your recommendation requests and I try to fill them as closely as possible. So yeah, you should definitely be following me on Instagram if you'd ever like to be a part of these videos, and let's get into the recommendations. Okay, so first up, someone asked for Neighbors to Lovers. So I think if you're looking for Neighbors to Lovers, I would definitely recommend Snowflake by Nia Forrester. This is a college romance. Our two protagonists, they live across the hall from each other in an apartment complex at university, and they end up getting snowed in together, so that is kind of the catalyst for the relationship. This is a very cute, very wholesome, but also like emotional, angsty, and at times a little bit sexy romance. I really liked it. Highly recommend it if you enjoy college romance. They're just an amazing couple. I love them. I think about them so often. They're just deeply in my heart. But if you're looking for a book that's a little bit on the shorter side, a little bit steamier, then I would recommend Neighborly by Katrina Jackson. This is about two couples who rent property next door to each other, and the women in both couples are interested in each other, so they decide to kind of like open up their relationship and have this polyamorous unit going on. Very steamy. Beautiful communication. We love it. We stand. So I would recommend both of those if you're looking for more Neighbors to Lovers. Okay, next, a sassy heroine but a shy hero. I would definitely recommend The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. So The Intimacy Experiment, we're following ex-porn star turned sex educator and a rabbi. So the sex educator and the rabbi, they decide that they are going to form this sex education program for his congregation. And so our main character, Naomi, the porn star / sex educator, she is very bold, very outspoken. And the hero, the rabbi, his name's Ethan. He is very shy, not anywhere near as bold as Naomi, so I feel like they perfectly balance each other out. Their relationship is very cute, and I really enjoyed this one. Okay, a romance for people who don't like romance. 100% I'm going to recommend you People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation is absolutely romance excellence. It's like, in my opinion, one of the best romances I've read maybe ever. One of the most memorable romances I have ever read. And it's a friends to lovers romance. We're following these two characters, Alex and Poppy, and basically they're college best friends. They go on a vacation together every summer. Some events happen prior to the start of the story that have put their vacations to a halt, and they are not as close as they used to be. So Poppy decides to take the initiative to try to rekindle their friendship, and they go on like one vacation together to try and, you know, fix their relationship basically. But I would say that this is perfect if you're not someone who really loves romance, because while it is a beautiful romance, it's also very much a character driven story, and it's about Poppy and her journey to kind of figuring out what makes her happy and like what does she want out of life, because she's also going through kind of like this midlife crisis, even though she's in her 20s. So she's going through like this quarter life crisis where she's not sure if she's happy in the job that she's in, and she starts to question, you know, what it is that she wants to do with her life, and she realizes that she wants to take some steps to make her life, you know, happier, make it be going in a direction that feels more comfortable for her. And a part of her happiness is that she wants to rekindle this relationship with Alex. So I feel like obviously it is a romance, and I think the romance is really great, but I also think that if you really want to go on like an emotional character journey, this is that book. So I would highly recommend this even if you're not a romance fan. Okay, so then someone asked for monster love recommendations. So I'm going to say, if you have not already, you should definitely read A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. It's like a historical fantasy. There's a reverse harem monster romance thing. It's about this girl. She ends up working at like this brothel for monsters basically, and she basically gets like all these monster boyfriends. They're super in love with her and obsessed with her. They knock boots a whole lot. I mean, one of the most horny protagonists I've ever read about ever. The monster love is top tier in my opinion, because all the different monsters are really interesting, and I would say that the kind of monsters that they represent are more like monsters you see in like gothic horror literature. Like, for example, there's like a Frankenstein-esque character. There's a character that's kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but Mr. Hyde has like a kind of monstrous physical form. There's a vampire involved, you know, there's an invisible man. It's very good. I really like it, like from an emotional standpoint and from a like it's very hot standpoint, I don't know, I feel like the author Catherine Moon, somehow she made porn emotional. I don't know how she did it, but I was standing this relationship so hardcore. It is polyamorous. There are a lot of partners involved, but I loved it. It was top tier, very good. And I'm going to recommend another polyamorous monster romance. I don't know. That's my jam, I guess. The Witch's Wolves by Ellie Mae McGregor. This is like a Red Riding Hood-esque retelling. It's about this girl. She's like running through the woods. She's running from some people. And she stumbles across this like cottage. So she goes in, and this cottage is the home of these two like wolf men guys, and basically they offer her like asylum and a comfortable place to stay for a while, and then that transitions into them like being lovers. It's very good. One of the most wholesome, most tender eroticas I've ever read in my life, and I would highly recommend it. It's really cute and funny, but then it gets really hot and heavy, and I liked it. So it's definitely good if you're looking for a short and sweet novella. So the next prompt is a dark damaged hero and the absolute softest love interest who shows him his worth. So for this, if you enjoy like the damaged hero trope, then I would recommend reading the Them Boys series by Alexandra House. So this is a series of novellas about all of these brothers. I kind of can't remember what their last names are, but it's about all of these brothers, and they had a very traumatic childhood because their father was a piece of shit, and he was just like the worst. He very much emotionally traumatized them, and each book in this series is about the guys falling in love. I would highly recommend the third book in this series. It's called Shu, and so Shu is about Shu and Denver. Shu, he has insomnia, he can't sleep, and so every night he finds himself going to the nursing home where him and his brothers are like paying for his father to be cared for. So even though they don't like their father, and they have really horrible emotional associations with him, for whatever reason Shu just kind of can't help hurting himself by going to visit him like every night, and so in so doing he meets this girl named Denver. Denver is a CNA who takes part in the care of Shu's father, so they see each other every night while she's, you know, doing her job, and they end up like having a relationship together. Their relationship moves really fast, kind of insta-lovey, but I absolutely adored this couple. I thought they were so cute, so sweet. Shu is definitely an emotionally damaged hero. He's very dark. He engages in some questionable behaviors over the course of this book. He's crazy for real, but I absolutely loved him so much. Him and Denver, so cute. And Denver is definitely like, you know, this like bright and kind of sunny personality to his like dark and damaged hero. So I think if you enjoy that, you would definitely like this couple. Alright, so this next prompt is one where the love interest has to take care of the other because they're sick or injured. So for this, I'm going to recommend Isn't It Bromantic by Lisa K. Adams. This is the fourth book in the Bromance Book Club series, and we're following these two characters, Vlad and Elena. So Vlad and Elena, they used to be childhood best friends, and now they're in like this marriage of convenience because Elena, they're both from Russia. So Elena wanted to come to America so she could go to journalism school, and so Vlad is like, sure, I'll help you get your visa and all that kind of stuff. So they get fake married. But Vlad has very real feelings for Elena, and Elena has some real feelings for Vlad as well. But she just is kind of tired of this fake marriage they have going on. So when the story starts, they are kind of planning to separate. However, Vlad, who is a hockey player, he ends up getting severely injured, and so Elena comes to take care of him. And this is a very sweet, wholesome marriage of convenience book. I really liked it. The next one is Bad Girl, Good Guy. Usually it's like bad boy, good girl, but I'm a huge fan of this shift in dynamics. So for a bad girl, good guy trope, I would recommend reading The Risk by S.T. Abbey. This is the first book in a series. I think it's like 5 books in a series, and they're pretty short. They're only like 190 pages each, I think. So an easy binge, and basically this is about this character named Lana, and Lana is a serial killer. So this is kind of a revenge story. Lana is getting some revenge against these people who destroyed her life. She's a serial killer now, and she's offing one by one all of these people who destroyed her life. Now, she one day at a coffee shop, you know, taking a break from her vengeance, she's getting some coffee, she meets this guy, and he seems really nice. They start talking, they start dating. Come to find out, he's an FBI agent who is on her case. So this is a very fun book. I think if you like stuff like Criminal Minds, if you enjoy like Dexter and stuff like that, but you also want romance, I would definitely recommend this. Okay, so this next request is for a work-driven black girl with no time for romance versus an insta-love kind of guy. So I would recommend Equivalent Exchange by Christina C. Jones. Top tier shit. Christina C. Jones, she's just that girl. I will recommend her in every recommendation video I ever make, because she like, okay, it's insane how many books she's written, how many tropes she's covered. Like, she's just an icon and a legend. But anyway, you should read Equivalent Exchange because it is about this girl named Carice. Carice recently got out of a shitty relationship. She's not really looking for anything new. She goes to a bar, she meets this bartender, they decide to knock boots, you know, let off a little steam. And basically the bartender, his name is Lakin, he is immediately obsessed with her, and he's like, oh my god, this is a sign, like, you're my soulmate, we should be together, please let me take you out. And Carice is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, please leave me alone, I am just here to knock boots and get the fuck out. So basically it's definitely that, where the guy, he falls first and he falls hard, and it takes the girl a little bit of time to warm up to him. And this is also kind of like, it's very steamy. I love it, I love it. It's so steamy, so good. But also, it has like this like workplace romance trope as well, because come to find out, the guy Lakin is her new boss, because she's working on like some consultations for his company. Good stuff. It just, all of the tropes involved here are top tier. I would highly recommend this. It's so good, and Christina C. Jones is still so underrated, so you guys need to be reading her work. Alright, so the next request is for bisexual representation. I think if you're looking for bi rep, I'm going to recommend you some stuff from different genres. So the first genre is fantasy. If you like fantasy, I would recommend Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is fantasy set in like pre-Columbian Americas, a number of different POVs. And one of the POVs, she is a bisexual like sea captain of this ship, and she is tasked with transporting this guy who's kind of weird and magical and a little bit creepy, but also very alluring. And she's tasked with taking him to like this celestial event. So I would highly recommend this. Shala, she is amazing, my bisexual queen, my icon, my legend. I love her so much. And if you like fantasy, I would highly recommend reading Black Sun, because it's very different from a lot of fantasy that's out there. So if you're looking for something fresh and unique, definitely recommend this. Also, if you like romance, I would say read Zenny by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This is a really cute, really fun, really steamy marriage of convenience trope. They need to get married so that they can like get access to this inheritance money, and they're both bisexual. So highly recommend that one. And finally, I would say that if you like fantasy and you like sci-fi stuff, but maybe you're not ready for like the adult sphere, I would highly recommend reading the Feverwake series by Victoria Lee. This is like a YA fantasy dystopia. Our main character, Gnome Alvaro, he lives in a world where this like magical disease is ravaging America, and so people who get the disease, they either die or they get like magical powers. Our main character, Gnome, he gets the magical powers, and he has to join like this school for magical kids. It's a whole thing, but this series is actually really interesting. There's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of twists and turns. It's also really dark, unexpectedly. I really love this series. One of my favorite YA series of all time. Definitely very underrated. And our main character, Gnome, is bisexual. So the next request is asking for some black rom-coms. I would highly recommend reading anything by Christina C. Jones if you're looking for a black rom-com. Her books are so funny. I love the way she does dialogue. Amazing stuff. I'm going to specifically recommend Christina's Love Sisters trilogy. Hilarious shit. Truly fucking iconic. It's so funny. I love it. And they're all really short. It is a series of novellas, so they're really short, really quick, really easy to read, and I would highly recommend those. She also has another novella series which is called In the Heights, and those are about like a series of different like meet cutes in this neighborhood called Mahogany Heights. Very cute, very funny, incredibly enjoyable. Highly recommend both of those series. And I would recommend Release Some Tension by Nicole Falls. This book is so fucking hilarious. It's full of drama and pettiness, and the characters are so hilarious that I screamed when I was reading this. It was so good, and I honestly want to reread it. Like, I've been thinking about buying myself a physical copy and rereading it because it was just so much fun and so ridiculous. I had a blast. Alright, someone asked for a fake dating recommendation. For this, I'm going to recommend The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is a really new release, but it's an academic setting, fake dating between this grad student and like a faculty member in the biology department. Really cute, nerdy romance, and it was just really fun. I feel like if you enjoy fan fiction, like, you will enjoy this because it's very much fan fiction-y. you know, like, if you read fan fiction, you'll know what I mean. But this is really cute. It has like all of the tropes. It's really adorable. And yeah, it was a good time. Okay, so this next one is a recommendation with a gothic vibe. I would highly recommend reading A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is a Brides of Dracula retelling. So this is about Dracula's wives. And in this case, Dracula's wives and husband is really, really beautifully written. It's very haunting, lyrical. It's unsettling, but it's also really beautiful. And I loved reading this. It's really about like this dark and like twisted relationship that Dracula has with his spouses, and it's just so beautiful and amazing, and more people need to read it. Yeah, I would highly recommend this if you're looking for something gothic to read. Thank you so much for watching. I will hopefully see you all in my next video. Bye guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and a special thank you to all of my wonderful patrons.